Hey, this is Mike Lindsay from Vital MX, and today's video is about the team announcement for the upcoming 2022 Global Supercross Series and FIM World Supercross Championship. There's been a little bit of news coming out about this series. Some people seem to be following it. Sometimes we do content about this, and people are like, what are you talking about? But basically, there has been a new promoter group, the Global Supercross, or SX Global Group, that has gotten the rights to FIM World Supercross, with Feld dropping that moniker and that association coming into this season. So this series is going to be started this year in what we would typically consider our off season, starting around October. It'll be somewhere around a 5 or 7 round series, and then it will grow in the following years into probably about a 10 to 12 round series as early as 2023, and we'll start to run a longer schedule. So like I said, we've done some content on this. To give you guys the short version is there will be 10 teams racing this series, and it's not just like, you know, the AMA series stuff where you can just show up, pay your entry fee, and enter. These 10 teams are being selected. They're going to have ownership's rights in terms of their spot within the series, and those 10 teams will be all there is to compete. So each team has to provide 2 250 riders, 2 450 riders, which will create a field of 24 50s and 22 50s for each race, with the final 2 spots in each class being wild cards, meaning there's no real qualifiers. It's the 22 guys in each main event. Big purses, a lot of cool stuff. Do some research, Google it, look on our website, etc. But what we're getting into is the teams. They have released 4 of the 10 teams today, and 2 of them are American, 2 of them are French teams. And then from here on out, we should be seeing announcements every week or every other week or so to cover the schedule, some more updates about the series, and the rest of these teams, the other 6 of 10. So starting out, what we all believe to be probably the most kind of easiest to guess team that would be in this, it was almost a foregone conclusion that the Smart Top Bullfrog Spas Moto Concepts team, or as they typically go by, MCR, would be one of the main teams in this. And yes, they are. It has been announced that Mike Genova and Moto Concepts Racing has been selected for one of the 10 spots in this series. We actually got to speak with Mike last night. There will be an interview going up very shortly with him, kind of covering why they're doing the series, what they're looking forward to, what their structure looks like, and things of that nature. So we do have one American team there, one team that will likely be riding Hondas, and will be running a team, at least in the first season, that should be all American rider based. Moving on to the second team is been announced as Pipes Motorsports Group, which, for those that don't know, Pipes Motorsports is run by Dustin Pipes, which is also the team manager and one of the owners of the HEP Suzuki squad. So the Twisted Tea HEP Motorsports Suzuki team, presented by Progressive Insurance, is creating a global entity to go into this series. We don't know exactly if all those entities are carrying over based on them doing a team known as Pipes Motorsports Group. But Dustin is another person that we got to catch up with. See an interview also about him or with him today on the matter. But again, they look to be going into it. They will be expanding. Really cool thing for them is they will be racing this global series along with US Supercross and US Outdoors in the coming season. So it's really cool to see that team have to actually expand to pull this off. It's going to add rides, mechanics jobs, crew chiefs to the industry. So really cool on Pipes in the group to not only take on this challenge, but also maintain their US presence at the same time. Then the other 2 teams in the announcement have been announced as the 2 French entities they'll run in this operation. I'm sure a lot of people thought when, hey, there's a global Supercross series coming, the 10 teams would be almost all American, if not American. The series does have a lot of goals to have international flavor, so they have saved 2 spots for good teams from France, and those 2 have been announced. One of them is very recognizable to most, is the Bud Racing Squad. Bud Racing Kawasaki has competed in MXGP, EMX, French Supercross, French regional races. I believe they've done German Supercross. We've seen them race US Supercross. They have a small US shop here. They've had riders go through their ranks such as Gary Apollon and Marvin Muscan. A lot of people don't actually realize this, but Marvin made his US Supercross debut on a Bud Racing Kawasaki well before he came over here with KTM. I believe 2 to almost 3 years around 07, 08-ish. If you go back and look at race results from Marvin Musquin, you'll find a couple Supercrosses much earlier on than people would realize in his relation with the Bud Racing Kawasaki Group. Again, they have a good worldwide experience. The past few years, they seem to have focused more on the EMX series, EMX 125, and the local French stuff. So this is kind of them getting back on the world stage, but they definitely have the experience to go with it. Then the other French team is GSM Yamaha. This one took us a second to figure out because we apologize, we don't follow a lot of the French series closely, but this is the current French Supercross Championship team. The GSM Yamaha squad is headed up by, apologies if we mess up this pronunciation, but Serge Guadetti. They have the current French Supercross champion on their team, Thomas Remet. They also have Maxime Dupre, and then Xavier Bouge works for the team in sort of a coaching area. So this team is experienced in indoor racing, again, in mostly the French Supercross series. They have been given the nod to be one of the teams to move into this new global series. So these are 4 of the initially announced 6 teams. Like I said, we believe that we've seen the only 2 French teams we'll see announced. We don't think we will be seeing any further from there. We do know, based on what we hear, we expect at least 2 Australian teams to be announced soon. And we wouldn't be surprised if you see another 2 American teams. That's about kind of what we're thinking is going to happen. Maybe there's one more than that. But if we kind of account for what we think we know, that brings us up to 8 of 10 teams. And then we believe the last 2 spots, one of them will probably be taken up by another European-based team. And then the last spot, who knows? There's been some really interesting rumors on riders, very experienced, high-level championship quality riders there in the record books that might be trying to put together efforts to run this. But we believe it's pretty much sewn up. These teams, these last couple ones are being selected over the next week or 2, and we should be seeing those announcements come out here pretty quickly. So we're interested in what you guys think. What do you think of the teams that have been selected? What do you think so far about what you've heard about the series? What else would you like to know? Throw it in the comments section below. Give us the likes, the thumbs up, the subscribe if you can. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more.